Hi, welcome to my sewing studio. I'm Mimi, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to fix those pesky holes that you get in sweaters. Springtime is hopefully around the corner, though in Colorado, sometimes the spring doesn't come until May, but it is a time when I like to look at my chunky sweaters and wash them, depil them, and do any repairs that needs to be done and put them away for the rest of the year. And as I was going through this process, I noticed that this one had a hole. It's had a hole before and I repaired it. This is the repaired hole. And it really just kind of blends in. And so the first thing you want to do is observe your sweater, kind of, do some detective work and see if it's a cardigan, then if it has a placket that has some extra yarn there, or if it's a pullover, then what kind of seam it has. If your sweater is a cardigan, a lot of times the placket is line stitched like this in the same yarn that your sweater is knitted from. In that case, it's the easiest way to undo some of this thread. See, I undid one for you to see, and you just pull very carefully because you don't want to make another hole here. So you just pull one by one until you have a long enough thread or the yarn to repair the hole, which is what I did earlier, probably last year, that I repaired this hole, which I can't even find right now. Oh, here it is. This is that other side. You basically darn it, meaning that you stitch vertical rows and then you kind of weave it in on the horizontal. When you're done getting all the yarn that you need, you can go ahead and blind stitch it again with the thread, matching thread. This is actually sewing thread. This is the yarn, just to show you the difference. Okay. I mean, you could use thread for that hole, but it's not going to match exactly. It's better to use stitch this blind, hem, or finish because you're not going to see that thread on the outside. But if you decide to, fix the hole with a matching thread as close as possible, you're going to kind of always kind of see it because it's not exact, which is why I like to get the yarn. Now, if your sweater is a pullover and it doesn't have a placket sewn with some yarn here, then the next option is to take it from the seam from the sleeve. And if you take a look at your seam, you'll see a row of stitches. Do you see that? Where it goes, it's right underneath this finished edge and it's right here as if, just like stitches from a sewing machine, almost, except it's a knitting seamer or something. I don't know the technical term, but you want to get that out with the seam ripper. You have to avoid these knitted parts because you're just going to create another hole. So you take your seam ripper and just see how I caught that, and it's definitely that row of stitches. So you want to cut it, and if you flip it over, you see how it's kind of knitted here. Do that, undo that part, and then okay, now at some point you could just pull and it'll start unraveling. Okay, there's a hole. You can get some here. There we go. Pull it through to the other side and there we go. Okay, so the best way to get this unraveling is, see this side? One side of the stitch is like a V knitted shape. Definitely like a knitted, almost like a knit stitch, right? Not a purl stitch, knit stitch. And this side looks more like a straight stitch from like a sewing machine. So you want to undo from this knit stitch, get a little hole going, and whatever's loose, pull it through to the middle, to the outside, to this side, and then start pulling. And that's how basically this stitch is almost like the bottom stitch where it's kind of looping and holding the straight stitch, like the top stitch. So once you undo that, you can start unraveling this part and it'll just come undone like that. So you want to get as long of a piece as you need. You want to try to keep it all one piece. I have it threaded through pretty big needle with a big eye so I can get this yarn through. And what I'm going to do is just tie a knot. It's going to be doubled. I'm tying a knot here. Like that, just one. Go on the inside. I start with the vertical and I'm just going to catch a couple of, maybe just one stitch. And I'm going to loop it through because otherwise it'll just go through since this is so open and stretchy. So we'll just catch that knot. I'm just keeping that tail long for now so I can keep it out of the way with my thumb. And you just want to start making like little vertical lines. Don't pull it too tight because then it's going to pull on the sweater. So I'm just going to catch, just kind of try to darn it like up and down, like you're weaving. Catch that. Pull it through. And then I'm going to go through to the from the top to bottom. Pull it through. And then you just keep working your way up or over until that hole is pretty much covered. Oh, that guy out of the way. See? I'm going to do one more right next to the hole. Okay, now I'm going to do the horizontal lines. So I'll pick up a little stitch here, go over that first stitch, go under the second, over. So just do your best as you can to kind of weave it. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're not going to notice. We're just trying to close up that hole so it doesn't rip anymore. Don't do it too tight because you're going to pull the sweater and you're going to see a little dimple. And then catch, go, weave up and down. Roll it through. There you go. Work your way all the way to the top. Closing up. One more across the top. I don't think this is even the hole anymore. I'm just trying to secure it. Okay, and here's the other side. I'm actually going to do one more stitch to keep this. See how there's a little bit of a loosey? That's from the hole. I want to secure that. So I'm going to go through here. There's the middle. And then just do the weaving again just to catch that guy from unraveling, really. There. So scratch it up a bit and make sure that the loose parts are secure. All right, pretty good. And then you end up in the back, and I left this kind of long. You can either tie that. If this is long enough, you can tie it. Or I'm just gonna do a little bit of weaving here and do a knot. Maybe I'll just tie it. No, it's kind of short. It's like just short enough where I can't grab a hold of it. So I'm gonna just tie a knot around this one, like 1, 2, 3. Pull through. There. I'll pull it through one more time. And I'll just trim it. I'm leaving a little bit of a tail on the inside. There. That's how you fix the hole. Now you can't really even see it. I mean, you can see it if you look on the inside, but this was where the hole, wait, this was my old hole. The other hole, this is the one I just fixed. See? Voila. Now I need to close up this hole. So I have this threaded double with one knot at the end. I'm going to start from here. I think I'm just going to do a little whip stitch and then do a little series of back stitches here to secure this loose seam so this doesn't unravel even more. So I'm going to pull and I'm going to loop it through. So it secures that. Then I'll just do some whip stitches. This isn't exactly a matching color, but I don't think it'll matter. Okay, I'm gonna end it. I think I might have actually gone past the part, but either way, I'm just going to make sure that I secure the stitch because that's what's gonna make it unravel. Ooh, stabbed myself on camera. Oops. So we're gonna just do a series of back stitches. 1, 2. Okay. And then just make sure it's good. Let's do 1 knot. There we go. And that should be secure. Let's take a look at our work. I close up that seam. I think maybe that was where the actual seam is, but if you just like, I'm gonna just steam it out. Should be okay. Okay, so if you undid some of the placket, this is how I would stitch it back. I would start like a little bit past where you cut the yarn, probably like about here. And I have the needle threaded the same exact way with 1 knot at the end, and I loop it through. That should hold it. And then I just kind of copy the stitches. So I think it went like this. And then you catch that part. Don't pull it too tight. And it went here. And then here. And then I would go back to about here and then secure, back stitch a little bit up here so it secures the stitch from unthreading. Just double back stitch, and I'll do a little knot here. Okay. And that's how you fix a hole in a sweater. And here is the finished sweater. The hole, I think, I can't even tell a little bit. I think it's right here. This is the one that I fixed. And here is the sleeve seam. I put some water and I kind of steamed it out a little bit. I hope you like this video and that you find it useful to give your sweaters a little bit more life to them. And let me know in the comments if you want more repairing ideas. Thanks for watching.